Welcome to episode 15. And yeah, we basically flopped the nuts, so I will slow play here. We flopped the nuts in raw equity, but we need to hit our draw to realize that equity. We can't really bet for 3 streets anyway with ace 10. And we can slow play again. And now he bets so large. There's no way we're folding, but it's definitely something we need to consider when facing a rubber bet.
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Yes, it's exactly the same sizing he used on the turn. So I'm just gonna call. And yeah, that's already something that I expected. That it's either this or a bluff, like just a complete random bluff. And because it's really hard for him to have a hand like this after checking back flop, then I just call. I think he has enough random bluffs. No c-bet here. I want to have some backdoor draws going on for a c-bet here. We hope someone comes along because stacking someone for 8 big blinds kinda sucks. Oh my god, I will even hit top set. Oh, he has a cut shot though. But we win. If I had to guess, it would have been exactly 9s. But very often you will also see stuff like deuces, or pocket 3s, pocket 5s. Or even just, I don't know, jack 7 suited. That has a beat. A different line we could have played here was to just bet flop, turn, and river. On this river it would have sucked, but on average you're gonna get a lot of folds on most runouts. We can 3-bet here. Oh, the spot is a bit special. We want to squeeze a bit smaller here, because he cannot draw profitably if I squeeze small with like suited connector type stuff, because we're simply not deep enough. So I can size down a bit to try and invite those calls. And he's out of position to us, so it doesn't really matter what pot odds we give him, we have position, so we have total pot control. He's always gonna under-realize his hand equity. It's just impossible to over-realize hand equity out of position. It's possible if you play against a really, really bad player, but I would assume I'm not a really, really bad player. I hoped he was betting bigger. I'm gonna go for that here. Not the best river, because now it's really hard for him to call. Usually they do like bluff catching. It's just that on this river he's probably not bluff catching too much. Now a lot of his bluff catchers are third pairs, and the simple fact that their second pair is turned into a third pair often scares them, even though realistically it doesn't matter, because my bluffs, they haven't improved on a 10. Like, even the bluffs that do improve on a 10, like let's say Jack 10 of spades, just a random example, I would not bet that on the river. Why would I bet that? No. Or even, I mean, Jack 10 is maybe a bad example because it could be strong enough to bet, but overall, the 10 doesn't really change much. It's actually a brick. It's very similar to a deuce of spades. Once I bet. If I check, then not, because if I check, then I can have all those bluffs that have a 10 in them. So if he puts me on the bluff on a turn with his pocket 5s or whatever, then why does he fold on the 10? But it's kind of whatever. I mean, they probably don't think this way anyway. Which we already assume in our entire strategy. Yeah, I want to start betting here. We could also choose to still play, but I think now the board is so wet that we definitely want to get value. Yeah, we get it. Oh, he was sole playing an ace. Oh, I mean his flop check is standard, but his turn check was dicey. definitely check this board. Now I assume this guy to be on something that cannot call a bet. I think it's unlikely that he has something that calls a bet because I block everything. And he should also not have a very wide cold call squeeze range here. I think he has mostly pocket pairs that are now like 4th pair and worse. So I'm just gonna check, hope he maybe tries to bet them on the turn or something like that. Oh wow, he does not value bet that. That is crazy. I did not expect him to have a hand like this in his range. But it's kind of funny how he doesn't value bet river because it's a very clear value bet, obviously. It's really tough for me to have a stronger range, a stronger hand than his ace-10 if I play check-check call. So a little bit of a stupid check back by him, but whatever. Because I would have definitely called the river bet if he doesn't go all in. And we need to change his tag because if he calls ace-10 suited to the squeeze there, that's not tight at all. If I knew this guy would check raise draws on the turn here, I would not bet. But because I assume he's not doing that, I'd rather bet. We could raise turn as well. Maybe I should go bigger because I think it's likely as a queen there. Yeah. Damn it. They are always afraid on those flash complete cards and then they start checking hands they shouldn't. And then they are willing to check call very large bets. And he has an ace. The composition of the board today is really awkward, to be honest. I see a lot of regs, but I also see a lot of recreational players. There's not so many in-betweens. And now we're dead. We just check hope, he checks back worst pairs. Especially in MP versus UTG call, I think you can have broadways in that range, not so much just pocket pairs only. So I think I'm either completely dead already, or he has a smaller pocket. And then he's basically dead, but he could potentially bluff me if he wants to, and I'll let him. I simply think he has a Broadway too often here. And obviously I can't make that fold at all. Under the gun makes a very large 4-bet, so I'm just gonna fold. It's really not needed to take those marginal spots, especially in spots where you have info on the guy and you already know, okay. Yeah, I mean basically the more information you have, the more you should adjust towards very unbalanced strategies. If you try to play balance against someone that you have a lot of information on, then even game theory itself tells you that it's wrong.
Really?
I can handle it.
I am certain that you cannot.
Oh, come on, I smoked a ton of weed in the 90s.
Right, the 90s.
No racist. Yeah. Trying to go for value against his draws. And we should have fold equity against weak stuff that he bets for protection. That's a really large bet, it's super awkward. It doesn't make any sense really. Don't have a spade in our hand. I think he's more polarized. So check raising doesn't make sense. That's a really bad turn. Because I certainly give him a lot of ace-high bluffs on the flop. Yeah, that sucks. That's just very unlucky in my eyes. Anyway, that's it for episode 15. Leave a like or dislike. Leave a comment. Bye bye.